Today, we are going to start the process to reclaim ourselves. Oh, that's a big headline. Can I deliver that? Am I a life coach or a motivational speaker? I wish I had those paychecks. Hey, everybody, Ken Napzok. It's a Monday morning show. This is the show, the podcast, the video cast, the vodcast, the old man in the sea cast, where I talk about what's going on in my week ahead. I look ahead to my week and see maybe some of the struggles, the obstacles, or even the victories that might be there and how we deal with them. And hopefully, I trust that connects with you. Even if I have a different experience, I might talk about some stand-up today. You're not a stand-up comic. Maybe you are, but maybe you want to be. But hopefully the ideas connect with you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a YouTube channel member. You get the video version early. Thanks for being a Patreon supporter, patreon.com/KenNapzok. New episode of Pop Rockin' Radio is up, and you get this episode early as well in video and podcast form. I hope some of you are still listening on the Napzok network. I always say that because it's the same RSS feed that I launched in 2012 into 13. And I just, I don't ever want it to go away. But sometimes I miss just doing audio only. I've had conversations with some of my pals about that. I love doing the video stuff. It's a different medium. It's slightly different. Audio only is still special. So I might be doing some stuff this next year. It's just audio only. So subscribe to the podcast feed, YouTube channel here, subscribe, all those good things. Links down below. Blah, 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 blah. Hit the notification bell. But no, seriously, hit the notification bell. Otherwise, I'd just completely drift out of your life. This is a show being recorded on Sunday, released on a Monday. And there's some troubling news this week. The terror attack in Australia, the shooting at Brown University. I want to acknowledge that. This is not the show where I dive into the news or even my feelings on that there. I don't want to ignore it. And I don't want to give the impression that I'm ignoring it. It's on my mind. Those kind of incidents. There's incidents every day. We always talk about it. Almost every hour of every day, you could find a news headline that will just make your heart break or make you angry or make you confused, sad, or all the above. But I don't know. For me personally, it's kind of the shootings. Australia was an attack, but it was an active shooter situation as well. It breaks my heart. This kind of specific pain of it. It doesn't have to be this way. And you know, I'm not even saying that just about gun laws here in America. In Australia, stricter gun laws, obviously. Statistics of gun violence deaths a lot different than ours. But that one fueled by anti-Semitism and all the when I say just all that, just where that takes a lot of the conversation. Seeing friends today on Facebook. I know Facebook, but every once in a while I check in just to make sure I can remember all the birthdays of my life from people I care about. Just seeing people scream at each other. Or stuff with Israel and Palestine, and it's a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of anger, and that factors in the week as well. That does factor in the week. So, anyways, you know, this isn't the place to process it all. Sometimes, as a broadcaster, I just want to blob and blarb and barf into the microphone to try to process it. But I don't know much about the situations other than the horrific headlines. You know, I'm not the expert here, but grieving for those lost, absolutely. So one of the reasons I love doing this show, though, is because the world is like that and the world is tough. We do need to be in the best tip-top mental and physical and emotional state as we try to navigate this world. If we're not healthy, if we're not working properly, we're not there for other people. Doesn't mean you can't be there for other people while you're not working properly. In fact, I think that's when you should reach out even more to other people, when maybe you're feeling a little hurt or you're broken inside or something ain't working for you. Push out past yourself and connect with those that are important to you. That's really important to me right now. But I said at the top, we're going to reclaim ourselves. Have you ever just been, how do I phrase this here? Let me take a sip of the good old water. Almost took too big of a sip, and now I'm ready to choke and cough. That's the best. All right, we're back. That was an overzealous water gulp. That was a lot of water. Have you ever had a good run? I had one coming out of June and July, even despite, all the things going on in my life this year of transition, this year of struggle, year of pain, year of confusion, but year of growth. I've been up and down, but like June into July, I was really up. Not just like happy. It's not about happy, but it's that firing on all cylinders thing, right? And you're getting up, you're accomplishing things, you're crossing to-do list items off, you're making your dreams and goals come true, you're feeling good about yourself, you're eating right, you're getting in the gym, or you're going for walks, you're losing weight, you're feeling better, you just like kind of like, I'm in it, I'm good, and this is going to last forever. I've solved it. I've cracked the key to how to live my life to the fullest, and I'm going to the toppermost of the poppermost. It's gonna crash down. That's the way it is, and you don't want to go so far that direction where you're just like you're burning candles on both ends. And sometimes the whole like falling can feel like flying for a little while kind of thing. I think sometimes when you are burning the candle, you kind of feel you're in that good time. I had this years ago when I started Screen Junkies. I was putting a lot of effort in on the job, and I was putting a lot of effort in at home, and I was like had this kind of mindset of if I go to bed before 2 a.m. I'm failing. And I remember talking to a friend of mine. Some of you might know her name is Tiffany. Her name is Tiffany. It's still Tiffany. She is. I remember telling her about it. This is what I'm doing. I'm working till 2 a.m. She's like, you got to find the balance here. We all can't be Dwayne Johnson. All right. You can't go to bed at 2, wake up at 5. Like you're going to burn out. You're going to be worse off than when you started. And actually that was right, because that's what happened. It was around the time I shut down the Napzok Files podcast feed, and still active, but I can't do more shows, and Force Center was starting, and it was I burnt myself out because I was like, we're doing this, like sweat dripping down my face. We're 2 a.m. I'm gonna work, and the company doesn't care, right? That's one of the things you find out the older you get. You invest so much time, and I like working. I like that, as I explained before. I don't like hustle culture. I get the fights against it, but also do like working and do think it's important for us out there and you out there to put in some time, put in some effort on the things you love. But when it's things, you put a lot of effort into a company or something, and you don't often get that love back. I'm not talking about that, okay? Because you do have to find that nice through line. But I'm talking about the times when you do find it, or you think you found it, and you're like, I've solved my life. I know who I am. Here we go. No one can stop me. Life is a highway. I'm going to ride it all night long. And Tom Cochran, shout it out. Tom Cochran. A lot of so many syllables in my mouth because I'm hustling. I'm hustle culturing. But that's where I was in July, and I kind of crashed down again. And again, this isn't actually about depression. I want to be clear. It's about depression or sadness. I've been dealing with that lately. December's been a little bit of a depressing month. But it is about the investment back in yourself, the belief in yourself, the feeling good, but also working hard. Again, with that caveat on what I mean by working hard, but just putting the right amount of work in and getting returns. And for me, going into the gym or going for walks, eating a little better, and all that kind of went away. And I've been struggling in December to find that again, to reclaim myself, not in this big global macro way, but the micro way in which I know I'm putting the right amount of effort into my life that will pay off dividends. Does that make sense? Oh, hopefully that makes sense. I had a good weekend. Despite state of the world stuff. All right. And a lot of it's based around stand-up. And it wasn't about just whether or not I was good or not on stage. I've expressed in the past that it's not even just simply imposter syndrome, but just I have struggled specifically with stand-up of I don't belong in those green rooms. I am not a real comic, and the other comics are, and it's hurt me a lot. But that carries around to other parts of my life. And I've been struggling with that lately too, that I almost just feel like I don't belong here. Not saying like don't belong on the earth, and it's that kind of depression. You know what I mean? Words that YouTube doesn't like. It's not that, but it's kind of like I just feel like I'm faking it all, even more than imposter syndrome. That I'm not the real boy. Everyone else is. I'm the puppet. They're the real boys and girls and folks. But this weekend, man, I went to the comedy club Friday night. Didn't have a show. Just was hanging out, doing some work. Nice. I like just sitting in the club and writing some jokes and getting prepared for my headlining set next week, December 19th, 7:30 p.m. Your room. Come on out to Flappers Comedy Club. But I was hanging out with other comics. They were saying hi. Club booker was saying hi. And that just makes me feel good. It's fun. I like the connection. I've told you I just feel a little lost and lonely lately, so that felt good. But then it's like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow night? Can you host the show tomorrow night in the main room? Yeah, the Jay Leno show. So I hosted that, and it went good. But it wasn't just about what I said on stage. I had a good enough time up there as a host, not really doing a set. Your jokes aren't really what's the priority. It's about getting the show going and being there for the show and for the comics. It's not about me, it's about them. And I was doing that. I was firing all cylinders. But I've done that before. But what happened last night is I didn't want to call it validation in terms of ego. But I belonged. And I felt like me. And I felt that I was moving forward, not just both as a comic, but as someone in good standing with the club. I was talking to other comics. Despite, I know there's conversation around Jay Leno and who he is and what he says these days. I've been around him a few times, and he's nothing but nice, which doesn't necessarily mean you don't commit crimes. I want to acknowledge that because his name pops up, and his name popped up again recently. With John Oliver and Monica Lewinsky. But, like, after I came off stage, there's a couple comics between me and him coming up for an hour. He was, like, very complimentary. And hey, sit down and ask me questions about where he's from. And he hadn't done that before. And we worked together before, he said. And it wasn't just the former host of the Tonight Show. Remember, it was just like, he's a comic, and he accepted me as a comic. Small to maybe you listening, but it was like, I'm me. Oh my gosh, I'm me. And it was a full house. It was a great show. And then afterwards, a lot of times I just sneak out. I don't need the accolades. I don't need the flowers as much as it sounds like I do right now. But, just like sometimes I just want to go home, play Fortnite, and be with my dog. But everyone was really nice to me in the audience. It was like a holiday party. And they all just kind of they wanted to say thank you. And I wore my lavender beanie with my lavender pocket square, my lavender shoes, and I was getting a lot of compliments from that. And I'll say this: you get a couple compliments from the ladies. Got a couple compliments from the ladies that felt good. But I was laughing because once again, as I got in my car, went home, I kind of had run away from it. There was a point in time where there was too many nice words being said to me, too much attention being paid attention to me, and I started to fight against it. Include like direct words. One of my friends, Karen Haber, one of my favorite comics, and she's a veteran of the business, regular at the Comedy Store in the 80s, and she came back to comedy after like 20 years off, raising kids and everything. She's just one of my favorites. She was saying such nice things to me, not just as a comic. She was saying, and this is the point of maybe the whole thing I'm talking about, she was saying nice things to me, like as a human, She wasn't just going, your jokes are funny. She was complimenting me. And that felt good. And then someone there was like, hey, I'd love to have you come host. You're good. You're a great host. I'd love you to have come this host. And I can't wait to do that. Hopefully do that at another show. And I was meeting some folks and shaking hands. And it felt like, man, I am connected with myself here. And a lot of the things and a lot of the struggles were kind of faded away. I was feeling good and I was feeling confident. And I did have to go home and I leave. And someone out there, I don't know, I don't think they had seen me perform. It doesn't really matter, but it was it's funny weird beat. But she was a woman was out there, and she stops me. She goes, "I just need you to know you look really cute. You're really cute there in that lavender beanie. You look really cute." And I all but sprinted away. And for what it's worth, she was cute as well, But I was nice. I was, oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah, I love my beanie. Boom. And the reason was, and by the way, it was nothing more than that. Now I'm not reading more into that. That's not the point. The point was, between what had happened in the club and what now had happened out on the street, I was feeling as though who I am is shining through. Who I am is now a bright light in this moment on this night. I'm not just feeling good, but I have found me. I've reclaimed me from the last couple weeks of depression and darkness. And now there was some instinct inside of me to run away from it. To run away from it. And though I was laughing on the way home, I was like, all right, so this complete stranger, again, let's not read too much into it. A woman can compliment you and say you're cute in your beanie and it not mean anything more than you're cute in your beanie. I want that to be clear. Men, make sure you process that. But let's just say it was more. Let's say it was this. And I ran through this list of things as I was running away. Can't talk to her. Can't find out more about her. I barely stood. It kind of caught me off guard, but I wasn't like, turn, talk, hi, nice. I was just like, oh, okay, I love the beanie. Woo, gotta get the fuck out of town. And it wasn't about her. It wasn't about I don't want to date. It was about like, if I acknowledge the moment more than that, if I stayed in the club longer, if I talked to more people and they said nice words to me, I can't live up to it right now. Because I've been depressed the last couple of weeks. I've been down and out most of this year. I'm still, though I have some part-time work right now, I don't have all the bills covered, you know. I don't know where I'll be in 2 months. All those things I talk about on shows here where I'm like, I might live in my car. All that started to dominate. The fear. It was that these people weren't even, it wasn't like they were trying to prop me up, right? I have a lot of friends in my life. They'll be like, hey, Napzok, shut the fuck up. You're good, right? They'll prop you up. And hopefully you all have some friends in your life that do that. It wasn't, these strangers weren't doing that. They were just seeing me as I am. Do you have that feeling? Do you know those moments where you look around the room? It's not just that you're being validated. It's not just being that you're being flirted with. It's just that you and your light is so bright that people see it and you feel it and you know it. We all have good days, we all have bad days, but it's like who I am and my entire life and who I've tried to be, like they're all seeing it. It's being reflected back on me. But I felt the need to scamper away. From the club first, and then from this stranger saying nothing more than a compliment. It was more the beanie than me. But as I went back to my car 2 blocks away, I was like, I can't do. I don't have enough. I couldn't even take someone out on a date right now. I don't have enough money. I don't have a full-time job. I am a loser. I sleep on an inflatable bed right now. I don't have my bed in here. I'm waiting to settle permanently in either this house or my car. I am worthless. I'm worthless. Oh my God, I'm worthless. Get the hell home and dim that light. Over the last couple of weeks, I haven't been working out as much. I've been eating worse again. I mean, it's the holidays, sure, but, you know, even the little things, the choices. Should I have this sausage link for breakfast, or should I have something more sensible? Should I get up early and work out, or should I squeeze it in later when it's guaranteed to be a little shorter? These are the things that I've been feeling. And this week, I want to take the good that happened, the light being reflected back on me. I hope that makes sense. I'm not saying it from any ego point of view, but just those moments when you're like, yeah, this is who I am, and who I am is being appreciated by people around me. That's a good feeling. And when you get up and do those things daily, whatever it is, gym, workout, eat better, make the better choice, connect with someone, be there for someone else, all those things. When you're firing all cylinders, man, that just feels good, and you know it. And naively, we can all say, this is how it's going. I solved it. I cracked the problem. But then the depression hits you. The life hits you, and that's just natural. But I have, over the last couple of weeks, moved off of what was making me. I've moved away from it. I let myself move away from it, which is okay. I want to give myself the grace and the forgiveness to be like, yeah, that's what happens. But just as I, ran away from me on Saturday night after just a good night at the comedy club, I'm going to make sure this week, step by step, little by little, with a balanced approach, I'm not going to stay up till 2 a.m. trying to figure out my life. I'm not going to dive headfirst into hustle culture. But I'm going to do the things I need to do to make me, to make that light shine bright. And that includes eating a little better. Again, it's the holidays. Working out, just a little bit more. Going the extra block on that walk. Checking in with people around me. Investing in the lives around me. And then therefore investing in my own life, my own success, my own plans. And even though the urge inside will undoubtedly be at one point again to run away, maybe we don't this week. It doesn't mean you have to stand and flirt with someone on the sidewalk in Burbank. Well, maybe that's an option. It just means when someone is saying, I see your light. This week, I, and hopefully you, are not going to dampen our own lights. Let's do it. Yeah? Deal? Meet back here next week and maybe see if we did that? Okay. We'll do that. If you're local, you're listening to this at the time of this release, please come out to Flappers Comedy Club Friday night, December 19th, 7:30 p.m. Please. Tickets at flapperscomedy.com. Come on out. Flapperscomedy.com. I said it right. Live to tape, kids. Let's do it. Yeah? Thanks for your support. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for doing all the things that make me feel good. Hopefully, I can do that for you as well. See you next time here on a Monday morning show. The beanie was nice. The lavender beanie is probably the best one.